your girl T, and I want to go ahead and shout out Miss Faith Nance. Miss Faith Nance was one of the first ones to send me a voicemail message on Facebook. She sent me a voicemail message concerning the whole Freddie Gray situation. She is from Baltimore, Maryland, and she's lived out there about, I think she said about 50 years. And she was letting me know everything that was going down with the whole Freddie Gray situation. If you guys have not heard about Freddie Gray or who he is, Freddie Gray was a young man. He was 25 years old, and basically he was running from the police. I'm not really sure what happened before this, but once he was caught, the police officers basically jumped him. Somebody was on, they had their knee in his back. They ended up pulling him up, supposedly breaking his spine in several different places, and eventually poor Freddie succumbed to his injuries and died a few days later in the hospital. The video of him screaming in agony was just so heart-wrenching when I watched it. You know, the video, just hearing that man just, you know, scream in pain was just heart-wrenching. And it's sad that once again, police brutality is back on the front news in America. I want you guys to go ahead and check out the news clip. Watch this, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
Man is in critical condition following a videotaped encounter with city police. But questions still remain about what happened in the moments after the arrest that put him in the hospital. WJZ is live outside City Police headquarters. Christy Aletto spoke with witnesses about the incident. Christy?
Well, Denise, witnesses describe the arrest as brutal. His family tells me Freddie Gray now has spinal injuries, but police say when they saw the video, there was no use of excessive force. Witnesses capture the final moments of an arrest that send this man to shock trauma.
At no time, and I've seen the video a number of times, did I see a use of force at that moment?
Baltimore police won't reveal the reason why bike cops stopped the fleeing individual that family members have now identified as Freddie Gray. But Gray's stepfather speaks to us by phone saying he's barely alive.
His face is swollen. He just looks really horrible. And like I said, he's in a seduced coma at the moment. We're all praying.
So walk us through what you saw.
I seen the police, him handcuffed, him tased while he was handcuffed.
His leg broken, y'all dragging him like that.
Police say right now there's no evidence Gray was tased. His godbrother just left the ICU and didn't want his face on camera.
I seen the police officer bending his leg, like to the points where it looked like he broke it.
Police say the video doesn't show officers using excessive force, but they do say that the suspect was brought here to Maryland shock trauma with injuries. So what happened from the time that he was arrested to the point that he was brought here to the hospital?
He was completely healthy, fine, being caught up besides, his leg, but it's nowhere near to how he's sitting in ICU right now.
A gap in time police are working to close, uncovering what happened in the moments that weren't recorded and how Gray ended up like this. Now, police say the officers that were involved are on administrative assignment. Denise, back to you.
All right, thank you, Christy. Now, anyone else who witnessed the arrest or has video is being asked to contact police.
So you guys just watched the news clip. Like I said before, Freddie ended up succumbing to his injuries and he passed April 19th. And it's also been revealed that the police officers who arrested him did not take him to the hospital right away, even though he was clearly in pain. They're saying that they just threw him in the back of the paddy wagon. There were no restraints, nothing like that. And as we all know that this is like a common tactic by some police officers, is that they'll arrest the suspect or throw him in a paddy wagon. They won't, restrain them. And then they'll start hitting corners and driving real crazy, and the suspect is just getting banged up in the back seat or in the back of the paddy wagon. And I think that that's possibly what made Freddie's injuries even worse. So after this young man died, a lot of folks were really upset. There have literally been protests in Baltimore, Maryland for the past 3 days, and today it turned violent. Today there was a lot of destruction of property. It almost turned into a mini riot. Folks were just really pissed off. They started destroying police cars and cussing out the police. And so a lot of folks are talking about this situation. I want you guys to go ahead and check out these videos and these news clips I put together. Check this out. I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
And I'm Deborah Alfarone. We begin with outrage and protest over the death of Freddie Gray. Thousands pledging to shut down the streets of Baltimore.
The demonstrations come just one day after police say Gray did not receive medical attention early enough while in custody. And he was not buckled into a seat for transport in a police van. Our Hank Silverberg is live in the thick of the protest. Hank, tell us what you're seeing.
Well, we can see the protest behind me. It's dwindled down a little bit. There were several thousand people crowding this lawn in front of Baltimore City Hall about an hour ago. They started to dwindle out. We're told they might actually be marching a little bit towards Camden Yards, where the O's are playing this evening. But we can tell you that 25-year-old Freddie Gray died in police custody in Baltimore of a spinal injury, and that sparked a week of protests.
The longer the investigation, the bigger the cover-up.
Well, but a week isn't very much time, though.
A week is not very much time, reasonable time. But obviously, there are factors into play. The thing is that he had his larynx. Freddie Gray had his larynx crushed, and he had, I think it was 1 or 2 or 3 vertebrae broken in his spine. And he was in the custody of the police when all this happened.
Police cruisers parked on Howard Street, as we were speaking with you earlier. The group of protesters had moved north from Camden Street towards Pratt Street. Some of those protesters climbed on the cars and took some the garbage cans that are right here at the light rail stop, and were breaking the windows of the police cars with those large trash cans. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, 5 police cruisers with damage, with windows completely smashed out. The line of officers that was earlier down at Camden Street started running north. You can now see them all.
Police closed the gate, put up some barricades, and then bottles, batteries, metal objects were started thrown at police, including an orange, it was a metal, it looked like a bike rack to me, was tossed to police, including a trash can. And then the protesters on the opposite side of where this was going on, they were walking down the street peacefully. And then all of a sudden, they started arguing on both sides of where police were stationed. And then they traveled across the street. And things got a little bit out of hand across the street. They started throwing bottles. They started disrupting, turning over trash cans, etc. A cousin of Freddie Gray was trying to calm everybody down.
Didn't I tell you get this shit? I told you get this shit. I told you get this shit.
Watch the video of the protest and how folks are wilding out. The whole situation is just sad, and I notice a lot of people keep asking, why is this happening? Why does this continue to happen? And the reason why this is continuing to happen is because a lot of these thug police officers, a lot of these rogue cops, who have this, military militia mindset, they know that there's no consequence. I mean, we had the whole Ferguson situation where Darren Wilson got off, and then we had the whole Eric Gardner situation where that cop got off. So a lot of these police officers know that there's no ramifications for their actions, and they just keep doing it. And like I said before and time again, are all police officers bad? Of course not. That's like painting all black people with one brush. All black people are not thugs. All black people are not criminals. So of course you're going to have good police officers. But the sad part is that you have a lot of good police officers that are either scared or, they don't want to speak out against the bad police officers. So then you have this whole code of secrecy and silence where the good cops sit there and watch the bad cops, do a lot of dirt and do a lot of, despicable things. And to me, if you're going to sit by idly and be complacent when you see a police officer not doing the right thing, then to me you're just as bad as him for not intervening and for not stopping it. I just found the whole situation just a disgrace that this young man had to lose his life in such a vicious manner. To have your spine broken in several places, the neck and the spine are one of the most fragile bones in the human body. It's not like breaking a leg or breaking your arm. Once you break your spine or your neck, it's either sudden death, And if you don't die, you're definitely going to be paralyzed for the rest of your life. You know, so this is just insane to me. You know, as far as the people protesting and being violent, I don't agree with that. But I just feel like people are just tired. People are just tired of the police brutality. They're just tired of the nonsense. Many black men are seeing themselves in all these men out here that have been killed over the past few months. You know, from Mike Brown to Eric Garner to Walter Scott. You know, it's just so many people. And then we also had Eric Harris out in Ohio who was shot by the police as well. So it's just like, you know, how much more can people take? How many more times does this have to happen? Just the other day I did the video about the white cop who allowed that white criminal who had murdered 2 people to literally come at him crazy and cuss him out and, you know, tell him to shoot them. And that white cop showed so much restraint. And so many people were ready to give him props and saying, you know what, he's a great cop, that's how it should be. But a lot of folks were saying, hold up now, I can't give him props too fast because I feel like if that was a black man, they wouldn't have hesitated to kill him. When things like this happen, when you have a man who's running away from the police and he ends up getting beat up and he gets his spine broken, and then you have a white guy coming at the police demanding to be shot and cussing out the police and coming at them in a threatening manner, nothing happens. This is why a lot of black folks refuse to give that officer props. Like I said in that video, if he was a black man, do you think that this police officer would have shown so much restraint? When we see cases like the Freddie Gray situation, it makes you think like, you know what, I don't think they would have showed as much restraint had there been a black man coming at the police the way that that white man came at the police. So this whole situation is just a mess. RIP to Freddie Gray. Hopefully, you know, there will be changes in Baltimore. I'm glad that folks are speaking out. I'm glad that they're protesting. There has to be change in the system. The tactics that a lot of these police officers are using, they need to be revisited. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for a police officer to put somebody in a chokehold. There's no reason for a police officer to put their knee into somebody's back to the point where they break their spine. I mean, all that, it's just not that damn serious. You know, so this whole situation is just really, really sad. So anyways, you guys, go ahead and leave a comment. Let's get the discussion popping. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Freddie Gray situation. How do you guys feel about the protests and people, you know, destroying property and everything else? With the protesters, do you feel like they're taking it too far? So like I said, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Leave a comment down below. All right. Deuces. Hey YouTube, it's your girl Lovely T, and you can show me some love by hitting that subscribe button, watching my previous videos, and following me on social media.